Greetings, everyone, and welcome. November the 10th, 2025. After a few days of very directed attacks at Ukraine's energy grid, their gas infrastructure, on this Monday, now Russia is going full bore. They are actually using Western voices and internal voices to specifically target Zelenskyy and state that he will not even be in office by Christmas of 2025. I have all of the video. I have every bit documented for you, and I will share it with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate all that you do, and you're very important to help us get the message out. Now, you can see here, very detailed, targeted thumbnail, December 25th, 2025, Christmas, Zelenskyy sitting there. This is what is happening on this Monday, and it's interesting because Ukraine actually came out with a warning today of the Russian propaganda assault. They put out an infographic on it. It's down on the lower left. On the right, I have it translated for you in English, and it's just making Ukrainians and now people of the world aware that these are the coordinated attacks that Russia is using. One of those that I want you to pay attention to is that Zelenskyy is the problem. In addition to that, they are stating there's no way to have peace because Ukraine will not talk. Ukraine is a dictatorship. Ukraine goes after the churches. Everything that you're hearing, but Zelenskyy is the problem. It's a current massive propaganda assault that Russia is using. I saw that, translated it for you there, and then I discovered this. This is Larry Wilkerson. Larry Wilkerson is the retired United States Army colonel. He's the former chief of staff to United States Secretary of State Colin Powell. As of 2024, he is a member of a group called Veteran Intelligent Professionals for Sanity. You can look this stuff up. Basically, this group is nothing but a pro-Russian propaganda war machine, talking machine on every level. But this retired Army colonel, who was the chief of staff for Colin Powell, was making a statement like this.
And I'm just waiting for Zelenskyy to lose the protection of the Nazis who are around him and the oligarchs who are around him, and either want to run to his Bugatti and one of his layers, his dashas in the world, and escape, or they'll kill him. And I would predict that before Christmas, one of those things will happen. I just don't think he can hold out much longer. The group around him that's protecting him, both the financial, economic, criminal group, which I'll just call oligarchs for lack of a better term, and the neo-Nazis who are around him, who have refused now to go to the front lines. They will not fight.
So this is the message coming out. This is nonstop. Yesterday, there was messaging coming out from Tucker Carlson, and he was interviewing somebody. I'm not even going to play it, but they were literally attacking in the most massive way Zelenskyy and his treatment, the Ukrainian treatment of the Christian church in Ukraine. I'm here to tell you, I've worked in Ukraine for over 28 years. All of those are lies, 100%. I could bring hundreds of church pastors on my videos and prove it to you. It's just there is a massive assault against Ukraine right now, and it's not just with lethal weapons. Now it's with lethal propaganda, and we must be prepared and filter it, understand it, so that we can share and educate others. Now, Dmitry Peskov making some serious statements today. He says the war is not our fault. Peace is not our fault. We will accomplish our goals that have been established one way or the other. Those goals are, I remind you, the 4 regions of Ukraine become permanently Russia, including Crimea, the denazification of Russia, the freedom of language and the freedom of the Russian Orthodox Church, the demilitarization and no NATO. Yeah. He then states Kyiv does not want to talk, and actually it is the EU that is complicit in continuing this madness. Here it is. This is Peskov. Of course, we want this conflict to end as soon as possible, and it can end when Russia achieves the full goals it set initially. And for us, it would be preferable to resolve this conflict through political and diplomatic means. We have repeatedly stated this, and we, the Russian side, remain open to this path, but we see that there is now a continued pause. The situation is at a standstill, and it is not our fault. The ones we are talking to, they do not want to continue any conversations, and in every way possible are egging the Europeans on to war, who believe that Ukraine can win this war and secure its interest by military means. This is the deepest delusion that the Kyiv regime can and does indulge in. The situation on the front lines show us differently. It speaks very dynamically and eloquently about the prospects for the Kyiv regime, which will inevitably deteriorate day by day. So you can see this is the Monday, November 10th message coming out from Peskov. We're doing nothing wrong, but we're going to accomplish our goals one way or the other. Everything is Kyiv's fault and everything is the EU's fault. Now, today, Russia launched another propaganda attack, and they're using NATO against Ukraine. I know it sounds strange, but this is what they are doing. And I'm telling you right now, be on the lookout for more of this narrative over the next few weeks. And that is the Jamie Shea press conference. You can go look this up, but here it is in a nutshell. On May 25th, 1999, NATO spokesperson Jamie Shea held a press briefing at NATO headquarters in Brussels. In response to questions about the severity of the bombing campaign and its impact on Serbian civilians, he made a distinctive statement linking the restoration of basic utilities to the capitulation of Slobodan Milosevic. Now, remember, guys, I'm sure that many of you do remember this. Russia is going to attempt to do the same thing over the coming weeks. Continue to strike at infrastructure. Continue to take out the grid of power and gas. The actual quote that Shea stated was, President Milosevic can have the lights back on all over Serbia in a matter of days, a very few days, if he simply accepts the conditions of the international community. This is not a siege against the Serbian people. It is a siege against the regime of President Milosevic to get him to change his policy. This is a narrative you're going to see Russia begin to ramp up and use. Just replace Zelenskyy. Ukraine, you can have your power, you can have your electricity, just capitulate to our demands and do exactly what we say, just like NATO did to Serbia in 1999. This story just coming out today. Now, let's continue here. Russia eyes Indian workers. Deal likely during Putin's trip. Russia will be adding the minimum 70,000 Indians working in multiple sectors, and the biggest push will be IT. Vladimir Putin prepping for a trip to India, and Russia confirming again today that no matter what is being stated on the world stage, India is still buying Russian oil. Propaganda pushes stronger. This is Bloomberg. Poland's support for Ukrainians is cracking at a dangerous time. You see the narrative. It will continue, ladies and gentlemen. It will continue day by day as the pressure is put on, and that is why we must stand strong. And of course, Viktor Orban once again coming out and saying, stop the lies, stop the fakes, stop the exaggerations. Basically, Hungary has an exemption on our energy with Russia for the lifetime of my prime ministership and the lifetime of Donald Trump's presidency. We have a gentleman's agreement. Now, other nations around are starting to say, okay, well, if you can have a deal, we can have a deal. This is exactly what the Kremlin wants. So as you can see, as we get this week started, November the 10th, 2025, I personally feel that this is one of the most pointed, escalated propaganda attacks on Ukraine since the war began. And now it is bullseyeing on President Zelenskyy. but we stand firm. We stand strong. We share truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. As always, much unfolding. Make sure you have that notification bell on. We can be back at any moment with a video or live. Be blessed.